Hey everyone, this is D-Vyne. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this video. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. With 2 successful albums under her belt, Blu Cantrell was well on her way to superstardom. But when her past caught up with her, she had to deal with a fallout. Add to that some major changes within her record label amongst other issues, and Blu practically fell off the map. How could someone with so much potential completely miss the mark? Tiffany Cobb was born on March 16, 1976 in Providence, Rhode Island. She and her 5 siblings were raised by their single mother, Susie Franco, after her father, a professional ball player, abandoned their family when she was very young. To support her family, Franco worked as a jazz vocalist. She couldn't afford a babysitter, so she'd sneak them into clubs and hide them in her dressing room while she performed. Blu snuck out a lot to watch her mother perform. She was mesmerized by the atmosphere and had dreams of becoming a singer one day. But she had a big issue with stage fright. She had her first big taste of rejection when she auditioned for the lead role in the musical Annie, and although she made it to the top 10, she didn't get the part because according to the recruiter, she didn't have the right look. She was devastated, and this really affected her confidence. After graduating from high school, she decided to leave Providence and move to New York City to pursue a singing career. Moving to the big city alone at such a young age, it was not easy goings. She struggled to stay afloat by juggling several jobs, but she was quickly in over her head. Things got so bad she was about to be homeless, and she could barely find enough money for a decent meal. She was away from her family for the first time and felt like she had no one to turn to for help. Desperate, she found herself posing nude for Blacktail magazine, an adult publication at the recommendation of a friend. At the time, it paid the bills, and that was that. She started going by the stage name Blu Cantrell. Cantrell was her grandmother's maiden name, and Blu was a nickname her family gave to her as a child because of her fixation with the color. In 1999, she joined a girl group called 8th Avenue, mentored by singer Teddy Riley. The group recorded a few songs together and made an appearance on Blackstreet's album, Finally. But after Riley decided to leave Blackstreet, 8th Avenue's music was quickly shelved and they broke up. As Cantrell tried to figure out what to do next, tragedy struck when her sister Kelly was involved in a car crash in Atlanta and was in a coma. She and her family quickly rushed out there to be with her. Things were touch and go for a while as they didn't know if Kelly was even going to make it. But even during these dark times, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Things started looking up after she met a man in the lobby of the hotel she was staying at, and he told her she looked like a singer. Blu was pretty sure it was a pickup line, but it turned out that he worked for Red Zone Entertainment. He invited her to the studio, and she went there with her mom and family to perform for him and some other Red Zone execs, including producer Tricky Stewart, co-founder of Red Zone. He originally wanted her to join another girl group, but as he worked with her in the studio, he became convinced that a solo career was a great idea. While working on her demo, Red Zone had her working as a backup singer for other artists like P. Diddy, Faith Evans, Aaron Hall, and Gerald Levert. She was also invited to temporarily move in with Stewart and his girlfriend at the time in Atlanta. He hooked her up with L.A. Reid, who immediately wanted to sign her to his label after listening to just one of the original songs she recorded with Tricky called Till I'm Gone. There were other label offers at the time because Reid wasn't the only label who had caught wind of her talent, but Reid was determined to have her on his label, and he made sure he had the best offer imaginable. Eventually, she just could not turn him down. She was soon signed to his label, Arista Records, and Reid later expressed in an interview that she had a sound that he felt was missing in music at that time, and he really wanted to work with her on developing her sound. They went right to work on her debut album, So Blue, which was released in 2001. Its debut single, Hit 'Em Up Style, was written and produced by Dallas Austin, a good friend of Tricky's who worked on it as a favor to him. And boy, what a favor it was. It was a smash hit, peaking at number 2 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and stayed on the chart for a whole 34 weeks, making it a bona fide hit. The single told the story of a hurt woman who went on a spending spree with her man's money after discovering that he had been unfaithful to her. A lot of women resonated with the song's message of getting even, and for a while it was like the hurt woman's national anthem. It earned her 2 Grammy nominations in the following year, which is not too shabby for a first go, if I do say so myself. With her newfound success, her past caught up with her. News broke about her nude photos, and some people were just not happy about it. They felt it wasn't a good look for her as an artist. She even had some people refusing to feature her music, and I think that was kind of overkill, but the photos just seemed to overshadow her talent. Blu maintains that she is not ashamed of those photos. She took them to pay the bills, and she refuses to be shamed for trying to survive during a dark period in her life, and rightfully so. Maybe not the best decision she's ever made, but faced with being homeless and starving, she did what she felt she had to do. She has immense talent as an artist, and maybe because now so many singers and actresses have had nudes leaked of them, and it's not the big deal now that it would have been back then. There's OnlyFans, and people are even putting their own stuff out. But back when people started bringing up Blu's nudes, it was taken a lot more seriously. In an interview with Wendy Williams, she also spoke about an NBA player she met at an award show. They dated for quite a while, but he just couldn't handle the backlash that came with those photos either. So that relationship did not stand up to the scandal. But she did capitalize on the scandal a bit, receiving a pretty lucrative offer to pose for Playboy. Although she never really confirmed the exact amount she was paid, she did tell Wendy Williams that she was doing well for herself, and she sure looked smug about it, so it must have been one hell of a payday. After such a successful debut, she went right back to the studio to work on her sophomore album, Bittersweet, which was released in 2003. It didn't do as well as So Blue on the charts, but it did produce the successful single, Breathe, which she originally released with a rap verse, but later on thought it would be a great idea to do a remix featuring prominent Jamaican artist Sean Paul. While Breathe didn't do as well as Hit 'Em Up Style domestically, it did get a lot of airplay internationally and topped the charts in Europe and the UK. It also got her a Grammy nomination. In an interview with Planet Rock Profiles, she talked about how she was a fan of Sean Paul's hit single Gimme the Light and wanted to get him on her album before other people started snatching him up for collaborations, and they really created magic together on that single. Funny enough, soon after, Beyonce dropped Baby Boy, also featuring Sean Paul, which was a smash hit in the US. I know Blu hinted that she suspected Beyonce had some hard feelings towards her after she openly expressed an interest in dating Jay-Z during her famous Wendy Williams interview.
Really, I really like him though. And I don't care who he's dating. I always had a crush on him though.
If he came in right now and we were all not here.
What?
I'm just saying, you're in New York.
Yeah, okay, and what
If you ran into him and everything was right, would you make that play?
I wouldn't turn it down. Let's just put it that way.
Blu smugly stated that she did not care who he was dating at the time. Wendy, as well as a lot of others, suspected that Blu and Jay-Z had a little something going on behind the scenes, even though she did clarify that they had not been intimate. But she let it be known that if Jay was down for more, then she was as well. And we all know that by then, he was quite openly dating Beyonce. So maybe Queen Bee was being a little petty when she too requested the international dancehall legend appear on her debut solo album, Dangerously in Love, coincidentally in the same year that Blu dropped the lead single for her sophomore album. And Baby Boy dominated the charts. Like, I couldn't go anywhere without hearing that song back in 2003. It lived rent-free in my head. So if she was trying to be petty, she definitely came hard. Things were moving and shaking behind the scenes of Blu's career as well. In 2005, Arista merged with J Records and started operating under the RCA Music Group. Amidst all of this shifting and changing, L.A. Reid, her longtime mentor, left the label as well. Blu started feeling like she no longer wanted to be a part of the label with the direction they were moving in, especially now that L.A. Reid was gone. With all that was going on, when her contract was up for renewal, the label somehow dropped the ball and forgot to renew her contract. I don't think she went out of her way to remind them either with how she was feeling about the label at the time. She's expressed a lot of anger towards Arista and record labels in general for how they take advantage of artists, and it seems like she was also a victim of this as well. Arista owns all the rights to her music, so as she would put it, she hardly saw any of the money that was rolling in from her successful albums. She's spoken out about how the contract she had signed basically robbed her of all her hard work, and coupled with the backlash that she faced back when people found out about her nude photo shoot, her career really suffered and she has not been able to recover. And really, with all the negativity surrounding that shoot, I just think Arista was happy to cut her loose while still being able to benefit from the work she had already put out. After she parted ways with Arista, she started touring as a free agent. She took a break from music and started moving more towards acting and reality TV. In 2007, she starred alongside Lisa Ray and Kenya Moore in the musical stage play Gossip, Lies, and Secrets, which ran for about 3 months that year. In the following year, she was a contestant on NBC's Celebrity Circus, but that was a pretty disappointing, short-lived run, as she became the first contestant to be eliminated from the show in its second week.
This is Grammy-nominated singer Blu Cantrell in her second week of training.
Yes, babe. You'll be fine.
I don't want to do it.
Good?
No, I'm not.
From clips of the show, it was obvious that she was not feeling it at all. She was afraid of heights and pretty much refused to do a lot of what was required of her. So that was definitely not the best outlet for her if she wanted to get into reality television, since it does involve a lot of stunts and she was not with it at all. But sometimes we think we can manage something until we are in the actual situation, and it is not at all what we expect. She continued to work independently on her music, announcing a few times between 2012 and 2016 that she was working on her third album, but that never came to fruition. She did drop a single back in 2012 called SOS, but that may just have been a literal cry for help. The album was slated for release in 2013, and here we are in 2022, and the album is nowhere in sight. She has continued to maintain a touring presence internationally just to keep some buzz circulating around her name. She is still extremely talented, that goes without saying, and I really had high hopes for her as an artist because she really brought a different flavor to R&B at the time that obviously sparked enough interest for an all-out bidding war amongst different labels. But it seems like personal struggles may have caught up to her as well over the years and stunted her career growth. She has spoken out about her issues with substance abuse, which is something she has battled for years. In September 2014, she ended up in police custody for a psych evaluation after she essentially had a breakdown and was found running through the streets of Santa Monica at 2 a.m. screaming about someone trying to kill her using a poisonous gas. TMZ reported that according to witnesses, she was going on about being a one-hit wonder and questioning authorities about whether or not they recognized her. She was gone, exhibiting obviously concerning and erratic behavior. So the police were called and she was taken to a nearby hospital to be evaluated and treated. No one really knows what caused her to lose it that morning. She has kept a pretty low profile since then. Her social media presence is pretty low. It's been rumored that she has gotten herself together a little bit more over the years since that public breakdown, which if that is true, then good for her. But she just hasn't been able to get back to that level that she hit in the early 2000s. She's also expressed in several interviews that although current R&B music is okay, she's not really feeling it much. It's all the same to her. She's not into all the auto-tune and other aids being used by the more current crop of artists, so she is hard pressed to find artists that she would even want to collaborate with. She also hates how sexually charged the music industry is, as she just wants to focus on the music, but sex sells. So with that all said, I'm not sure when we'll be seeing Blu back in the spotlight, but I'll be looking out. I'm curious to know what you guys think, so drop a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video. Until next time.